Tres. Hello, this is Nefi Varela, and this is my first video for Unit 3. And in this unit, we'll focus in the heart. And in this first video, I'm gonna describe the different type of heart fibers, muscle fibers that are gonna be the cardiomyocytes and the autorhythmic cells. And also, I'm gonna teach you how to read an electrocardiogram, the waves, what they mean, and again, a description of how to read them. And this is a pretty exciting unit, and I'm gonna start first with this type of, with a different type of muscle fibers. So we're gonna have these automyocytes, and automyocytes are gonna be, they're gonna help us in the action potential of SA node, AV node, bundle fibers, and Purkinje fibers. The cardiomyocytes are gonna be everything else, and the process of muscle contraction is going to be pretty similar compared to the skeletal muscle and smooth muscle, but it's slightly different because the action potential is going to be achieved by the help of different type of channels. I made these visual helps that you can see what I'm explaining and walk with me through the process. And because we have different type of channels, we're going to have different type of, different behavior when it comes to the action potential. But again, we have actin, we have myosin. We're gonna have this shortening in the sarcomeres that are gonna help us to contract the muscle and have this contraction in the inside of the heart. So let's start. Okay, resting membrane potential, the first phase. Okay, so this is gonna be mainly achieved by these potassium channels. Okay, so potassium channels are gonna let some potassium to leave the cell, and it's worth to mention that in order to achieve the action potential, we're gonna have these sodium, potassium, ATPase pump channels. Okay, so we're never gonna read of those. I'm kidding. So this is how we're gonna achieve the resting membrane potential in the heart. Okay, so then we will do depolarization. Depolarization means positive in the inside, negative in the outside. We're gonna reach threshold. In this case, it's gonna be 70 millivolts. And we are gonna have these voltage gated sodium channels that are gonna open and are gonna depolarize the cell. Then we're gonna enter to this period of repolarization, repolarización, and we're gonna have this ITO 1 and 2 channels, one for potassium, the other one for chlorine. Okay, so as we know, chlorine likes to be outside of the cell. Potassium likes to be in the outside of the cell. Chlorine is gonna come to the inside. Okay, so we're gonna start this repolarization process. The cell is becoming more negative. Okay, and then we're gonna enter to this phase 2 that it's also named the plateau phase. Okay, plateau phase, for each shape, it comes from the Latin word plate. So as you can see, we have this phase where the change in hyper depolarization, repolarization is not as big. Okay, why is that? We're gonna have these calcium channels, L and T, long-lasting and transcendental. Long-lasting, telling us that we're gonna last for longer. So we're gonna let more calcium to come to the inside of the cell. And okay, so we're gonna have positive charges coming to the inside of the cell. And also, we're gonna have 3 different types of potassium channels. So that's what I'm saying. That's why the behavior of this plateau phase, the plate. Okay, so we're gonna have 2 different types of channels. The ultra rapid channel, the rapid channel, and the slow channel. These describing them physically. Okay, so one is gonna be more rapid. Literally, that's what it means. Okay, so main purpose to let potassium to go to the outside of the cell. Okay, so we're still in that repolarization process in the plateau. And then we'll have this potassium channel that is going to open this voltage gated, and we're going to achieve like the hyperpolarization, repolarization, and potassium again is going to help us to return to resting membrane potential. Okay. Something worth to mention, something that you cannot see in this diagram. Again, we're going to have an SR, a cytoplasmic reticulum, and in this SR, we will just have RYR, radiating, no DHP since, well, the lack of presence of T tubules. Okay. Again, calcium is going to help us to achieve this contraction. And these RYR channels are going to be triggered by calcium. Calcium. So as you can see, I have the label of cytoplasmic reticulum. By the end, in hyperpolarization, in this repolarization phase, we're gonna have circuit pumps that are gonna help us to take those calciums to the SR. Okay, so that's everything you need to know. And then autorhythmic cells. So we want these cells to don't stop. I'm gonna erase this. Oh, I'm just gonna move it. Okay. We don't want them to stop. Okay, and we are not gonna have a resting state. What am I saying that we don't want them to stop? Because the SA node and AV node are gonna trigger the depolarization of the rest of the heart, and we want our heart to be contracting because we want blood to be pumping in our body. That's why. Okay, so no resting state. Something worth to mention, there are different type of channels. So we don't have this voltage gated sodium channel as we know. We have something cooler. We don't have the ITO channels, the chlorine and the potassium ITO channels that we saw in this phase. Okay, so let's start. We will have first, that's what is named funny channels. Funny channels are gonna be sodium channels, okay? And these funny channels are gonna be activated, but they're gonna open by hyperpolarization. So they are named funny because they have a funny behavior different than any other channel. And they're gonna open also by cyclic AMP. Okay, so we're gonna start this depolarization process, and our main contributor for depolarization is gonna be calcium. Again, we have T and L, and we're gonna have also intracellular calcium coming from the SR. And then again, we are gonna have calcium leak channels and a calcium channel, not the rapid and ultra rapid and the slow channel. They're gonna be regular calcium channels that are gonna help us to hyperpolarize the cell. And again, we're gonna start the process of depolarization, and we're gonna again repolarize, hyperpolarize, and this is never gonna stop because we want our heart to don't stop. Okay, let's keep going. Electrocardiogram, and waves. So what we're looking here is depolarization and hyperpolarization inside the heart. This depolarization again is gonna help other cells to polarize. So it's like a chain, reaction. In well, that's in chemistry, but like a change of contraction. I'll say it for this class. Okay, so something worth to mention, as you know, the electrodes that are gonna help us to read an electrocardiogram, we put them in our skin. So we cannot put them in the inside. Yeah, unless we have a surgery or something. So these are gonna read the charges in the ECF. Okay, so if I'm saying it's going to depolarize, we know that the inside is going to be more positive and the outside more negative. Okay, so I'm referring in this case to this negative charge. Okay, so let's start. P is going to be the depolarization of the SA node and the atrium that is going to cause contraction. Okay, let's go fast. Q is going to be the AV node and then the bundle of His. Then R, we're going to have the intraventricular septum, the depolarization, and the endocardium. S, we're going to have the rest of the heart, the ventricle, and with some visual helps, I'm going to explain it better. And T is hyperpolarization, starting from the apex, the base of, well, that tip of the heart to go up. Okay, so, and the electrodes are going to help us to understand the behavior of those waves. I said previously that I'm going to teach you how to read them, so that's what I'm going to do. Okay, so if depolarization, if we're depolarizing, we're saying that the ECF can become more negative. So we have a negative electrode that is gonna propagate towards the positive charge. If we have negative going to positive, we're gonna see this wave to go up. But if we have a negative and negative, or a positive and a positive, we'll see this behavior of the wave going down. So in this case, we have negative, sorry, that's a positive, negative going to positive, so it's gonna go down. Then Q, the AV node and the bundle of His. So we're gonna have this depolarization from here to here is leaning towards the negative electrode. So negative and negative down. Then we're gonna have the R. I said that it's gonna be the intraventricular septum and then the endocardium. So negative going to positive is gonna go up, and this is gonna depolarize a lot of muscle fibers, so that tip is gonna be pretty long. Okay, well, compared to the others. And S, so I said S is gonna be the ventricle, and it's gonna cause contraction. Something worth to mention, because we have more muscle fibers in this sort of the heart, we're gonna start from here. Okay, so S, and again, the apex. And so negative going to negative down. And this one is going to be an outlier, a little bit different compared to the others. We're going to have a positive charge because we are hyperpolarizing with T, with the T wave, and we're going to be going from the apex to the rest of the heart, from the bottom to the top. So positive is going to negative now, and that's going to be a T wave. It's going to go up. Electrocardiograms are really good in healthcare because they can help us to understand different type of pathologies in the inside of the heart. For example, what will happen instead of starting the depolarization of the endocardium, we start with the pericardium, for example. So, for example, we can see a difference in the SR waves, okay? Or what if the depolarization of the SA node is not uniform, or the ventricle? So these waves are gonna help us to see abnormalities in the inside of the heart. So, action potentials, arrhythmia cell, cardiomyocytes, and electrocardiograms. I hope you liked this video, and this is my first video. See ya.